More than 600 locations are part of the National Underground Railroad Network to Freedom. A burial site in Uxbridge is one of them, and the recognition will allow the town of Uxbridge to apply for grants and get help for future research. Our Chandler Walsh has the story.
This is the burial site of Nancy Adams. She escaped slavery in the early 19th century and lived in the town of Uxbridge for decades. Her legacy lives on as part of the National Park Service's Underground Railroad Network.
This was really an area that was kind of a heartbeat of the Underground Railroad, and it was linked to a couple of things.
Adams and her family first tried to escape slavery while living in Maryland.
Her husband was sent to another town. She and her children were bound up and put on a wagon and taken to a market. And basically sent down to Louisiana.
A study of her skeleton shows injuries to her hips. It's why she couldn't work in the Louisiana cotton fields and was hired out to work in Connecticut, where she finally escaped before making her way here.
She was a remarkable woman. We have little glimpses of her in the historical record.
The town is still learning more about Adams, but knows she was in her 90s when she died. They discovered her gravestone in 3 pieces when they had to move an abandoned cemetery for Route 146 improvements.
They studied the bones, they studied the remains, they studied the history.
A replica stands in the Almshouse burying ground. Select board member Susan Franz says the town has at least 30 sites connected to the Underground Railroad and anti-slavery movement.
Of those 1,000 adults, 450 were registered members of the Anti-Slavery Society. So this was a hot little town.
Franz says it's because of the town's location and its Quaker community, who believed in equal rights. They welcomed Adams, who later donated money to support anti-slavery efforts.
She went through horrible conditions and yet came out, supported the Anti-Slavery Society, lived as an independent woman.
Uxbridge Selectman Susan Franz says the town is working to get official Underground Railroad Network recognition for more sites in town. They're also working to set up a public exhibition on the Nancy Adams burial site history at the Blackstone River and Canal Heritage State Park next year. In Uxbridge, Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.